It's doable. It's been done. We
been
put
done.
people on the moon.
Yes.
We can also put them in a bathroom. True story.
Even if it's at the end of the world.
Well, actually, the moon didn't have a bathroom, so. Hey everyone, welcome to A Grade, the podcast where a college professor and a middle school teacher taste, review, and grade America's best coffee roasters, craft breweries, and more. We have new episodes every Monday morning at 7 a.m., and you can check out our bonus content on patreon.com/agradepodcast for behind-the-scenes pictures, videos, and lots more bonus content. So hop on over to patreon.com/agradepodcast or click on the link in the description to become an A-grader yourself. My name is, of course, Joe, and I am joined, as always, of course, by...
Hi, everybody. I'm Jackie.
And this week, let's dive in, right? We
have a lot to say. Let's dive in.
We were at Left Hand Coffee Roaster,
Yeah.
in Montauk, New York. I keep calling it Left Hand of Coffee Roasting because there's a great book by Ursula K. Le Guin that we both love.
That I actually just finished reading 2 weeks ago.
Yeah, and it's called Left Hand of Darkness, so I keep calling it Left Hand of Coffee Roasting. Left Hand of Dark Coffee is another good title.
It's funny because when I was writing down in my notebook to record our grades that we give, I actually wrote Left Hand of Darkness and had to erase it and write coffee.
Yeah. Now, I don't want to say too much about which one I like better just yet, but I do love the book, so it's tough competition. It's stiff competition for sure. But yeah, so we were at this coffee roaster this week, and a bit of a backstory because we did try to visit this coffee roaster previously. I think it was maybe, was it January, February? We tried to go, and we were a bit miffed because Google kind of had hours for them. We checked on their website. It didn't say that they were closed for the off season until you clicked on a specific link that said that they were closed for the off season. Of course, we didn't see that, and we wound up going out there, and unfortunately, alas, they were closed. So that's when we wound up, if you scroll back through, we did Hampton Coffee as an Audible review. So we said, you know what? We really want to go back to this coffee roaster and try it again because it looks really cool online. It has some pretty good reviews online, and there's not a lot of coffee roasters in this part of Long Island in New York where we live. You kind of have to go closer to New York City for a lot of great roasters, so we said, hey, it's probably worth the trip, especially if we do it before Memorial Day and before the summer season really kicks off and the traffic is just madness to get out there to the beaches. So this was really do or die for us to visit this roaster because we said it's now or never. And again, it's been on our radar. So we did finally get to go.
Yes. And we did see on their Instagram that they had posted updated hours. So we felt fairly confident that it would be open this time around.
And they were. And
they were open.
It was interesting driving out because you could tell it was a little more crowded, just people, I guess, starting to unravel's not the right word, unfold for the summer season that really starts with Memorial Day, at least where we live, right? But yeah, why don't you just mention the grading rubric again before we get into the first category more specifically?
Right. So what we are going to do is we are going to talk about and then grade from A to F 4 different categories. First, atmosphere and ambiance, then service, then coffee, and finally food. After all that, we will each come up with our own overall grade for the roaster. And then from there, we'll come up with a podcast grade.
Yep. And I feel like I've been rambling a lot to start off. So do you want to continue with atmosphere and ambiance, starting with your impressions?
Sure. Yeah. And also I should say that we have a lot to say. And I think that this was the hardest time that I've had not talking to you about this place.
So on that note, just briefly, we always say, or we often say in the podcast that we try not to share our thoughts before we record. It's kind of like if you go to a beer tasting or a coffee tasting or whatever, a cupping they call it, you're not supposed to talk because you're supposed to objectively reflect upon your own sort of observations. But yeah, I kind of couldn't help myself, and you couldn't either.
We did.
And the car ride home.
Yes. So let me give just the overall atmosphere and ambiance impressions that I had first. So again, this is in Montauk, New York, which
small town
is a small town at the very end of Long Island. And it's actually, the nickname of the town is The End.
Well, it's the last town, like the last little village, sort of on the way towards the end. Yeah.
And it is a very cute, quaint beach village. So when you get there, you step out of your car. There's some spots to park on the street. You have hotels that are starting to open for the season, beach hotels. You can see the water pretty much, or the entrance to the water right down the street from the coffee roaster. And the coffee roaster is in this like kind of really pretty white building. And it's very clear that you see Left Hand Coffee, and the logo is cool. The E in left is backwards. So it's a cool logo, cool aesthetically to walk in. When you walked in, I actually was really pleasantly surprised by the way the coffee roaster looked. It had a lot of different recycled beech materials put together to decorate. So underneath the counter, there was driftwood instead of stone or brick or anything like that. There was cold brew machines that were situated around driftwood from the beach. And you did get that beachy feel. There were big windows with lots of lights coming in. It looked cool. I will say that there was not a lot of seating. There was one couch that had a table in front of it. And then there was two one-person recliners kind of.
Yeah, just chairs.
Just chairs with a table in the middle. So there was really only seating for like 4 people total.
I think there was a bit of a counter along one of the windows where you could maybe stand with your coffee, but that was it.
And they had a little bit of outdoor seating, but it didn't seem quite yet set up. So it did feel a little bit like an in and out place.
Yeah.
Is there anything you want to add before we go into the bathroom corner about atmosphere and ambiance?
I think you really nailed it overall. I mean, it sort of is set up like an in and out place too, because you walk in. Actually, it was a little confusing because I remember we walked in and there were some people behind us, and then we all kind of realized that the line is right when you walk in, because naturally you kind of flow towards the middle. So then everybody behind us got online before us, which I was fine with, but I could see like
it was not the best flow. If it was any more crowded, I think it would have got a little bit confusing.
Yeah. Well, it was clearly marked above the coffee bar with the signs. I think there was, once you saw them and you could figure it out, oh, on the left it says order here, there was pickup here, there was online pickup.
Didn't you feel like, though, it was backwards, that they should have had it the opposite way? I mean, this doesn't matter.
Maybe.
But it just felt a little clunky when you came in, that you weren't quite sure where to go. And we walked in with 3 different people, and we weren't really sure where to go. So that set up a weird, clunky vibe right at the beginning.
I think it's a very difficult space to do a ton with. And I think it sort of seems to me, or at least my impression was that they sort of opted with the in and out type vibe for that exact reason, because there's just not a lot of capacity. It almost reminded me of Tend Coffee in Shirley when we visited there, where it's very much designed as just in and out. I think that was a similar vibe where there might have been like 2 seats or something like that. But yeah, aesthetically, I thought it was overall very pleasing. I really liked the touches of the driftwood vibes, kind of like the dim lighting. I think it might have been a wood ceiling. I don't quite remember, but it felt very nautical.
There were plants in good spots.
It felt like it fit into that sort of town and that vibe. So I really liked all of that overall. They actually had the microphone set up where they do live music. I think they did live music yesterday before we went.
Right.
I don't know who's sitting and listening to live music. I would imagine they put out chairs or something, maybe folding chairs. Who knows?
Maybe it's just for when you come in and out, you get to hear some music.
Maybe.
I don't know.
Which is kind of cool. I mean, that definitely would maybe add to the atmosphere and ambiance. But yeah, definitely a very small space. So not a ton that you could do with it. But those were my main observations in terms of the A&A.
Yes.
So
I would say that was the extent of what I liked about atmosphere and ambiance, because those of you that are listening, this is about to get a lot worse.
Well, the problem is normally at this point, if you're a returning listener, you know I always do bathroom corner where we review the bathroom, and I should be cueing toilets right now. So I think what I'm going to try to find instead is one of those sound effects that goes like wah wah.
Or what if we just put dead silence for a little while?
Crickets? I could find a cricket.
Crickets. Yes.
Cricket sound.
Crickets.
All right. I'll see what I can do in post in editing. But of course, so a little context. We live a couple hours away, and we said, hey, you know what? Montauk is kind of a destination place. The lighthouse, Montauk Lighthouse, is certainly a destination place.
The beaches.
The beaches are destination
the dunes,
places.
The hiking.
So we said, hey, we got to go to this place. This could be a destination, what we call a destination coffee roaster, which is places that we go out of our way to travel to. I mean, we basically a few weeks ago went out of our way to go to Fundati in Rhode Island because it's so awesome and they're so cool and everything there is so amazing. So there are places that we will travel many hours to get to because it's that great of an experience. And we said, hey, there's destination places out here. We got to check out this place. However, so we drove quite a way. And what do you do when you have to drive quite a way? Well, you kind of have to use the bathroom sometimes.
Yes.
And of course, you went up to the counter and asked, oh, where's your bathroom? And they said, oh, sorry, we don't have one.
There was no bathroom.
Well, there is a bathroom probably, but it's probably... We kind of did a little snooping on Google because we were like, what's going on with this, that there's no bathroom? And some other customers had complained on Google that there's an employee bathroom. I think somebody replied that there was an employee bathroom, but it's closed to customers, but it's open in the off season, but they're not open in the off season.
Right.
So the whole thing was very confusing. It doesn't say anything on their website about any of this.
There was actually a review on Google that I guess a father was like, put a review on Google that they wouldn't even let his son, who was a kid, in the bathroom when they had gone there a couple of years ago. So this has definitely been a concern, it seems like, for people going into this place, that there is no bathroom.
And I will say, as just some context, I understand the idea behind why they wouldn't make a bathroom available. And I think, again, they mentioned, the owner or somebody mentioned on Google replied how like they had bad experiences with customers using the bathroom and other places don't let you use the bathroom. Again, I've worked in the Hamptons. When I was in grad school, I worked out in the Hamptons on Long Island. I understand the clientele. I understand that there's a lot of just like chaos out there in the summers. However, there's lots of other places that have bathrooms. In fact,
I don't get it.
In fact, I don't remember going to. We've been to a lot of coffee roasters across this country, and I don't remember going to one where there was no bathroom available, except during basically the pandemic when things were just starting to open. And the only place we went to during that time where the bathroom wasn't open, it was very clear. It was clear online. They said takeout only. And everybody, they had the shields.
There was no indoor at all.
They had the plastic wall up by the counter. They were all wearing masks. You couldn't get in the building.
And they are open now because a friend that also listens to the podcast had told us that Dave's Coffee is now open.
But
so that was a pandemic thing.
And my point is, I was okay with that because I knew going there that there isn't going to be a bathroom available. I was not happy about this situation because the fact that they do have one and it should be available to customers just doesn't make sense to me. It's more of a thing that they just don't want to deal with it because it's uncomfortable and it gets dirty and it gets messy. But I can't tell you how many other places. I mean, if you go around the corner to Hampton Coffee, they have a bathroom.
And also,
all of those,
right?
Starbucks down the road a couple towns, they have a bathroom.
We don't even understand how it's legal to not have a bathroom because you're serving food, you're serving drink, and you have seating. So the fact that you don't have a bathroom, to me, is outrageous. I think that there is no excuse for that. And it might be, me coming from a place where I don't have experience or I don't have anything like that. But I think it's outrageous. I think you're turning people away. I think that it's creating an unsafe condition, potentially. And I think that there are no excuses. I think that there's a way that you can figure out a bathroom system where people only can use the bathroom if they buy something. You have a key, you have a code. I think it's outrageous, and I was extremely disappointed and actually a little bit mad because we ordered and immediately left because there was no bathroom.
Yeah, we really couldn't stay.
We left.
And again, other places I've been to, if the reason is like, oh, we don't have a full service kitchen, I've been to plenty of coffee shops or coffee roasters where, yeah, they have a code or they have a key system, and that seems to work pretty well. So I understand why they don't want to do it because it's uncomfortable for them maybe, but I really can't recommend it then. Like, I wouldn't recommend any of my friends to drive out all that way in the summer when it's busy, get there, have to use the bathroom at a place that's serving still pastries and coffee, and then say, there's no bathroom. Well, where do you go? Where are you supposed to go then? Like, I don't understand.
Right. And I was just really upset because it's a cool space, but this is also the second time that we have driven to this place and had to leave immediately. The first time because the website was not clear that they were not open. Google Maps was not clear that they were not open. And yes, maybe we should have called. Yes, maybe we should have looked deeper. But no.
But
Make that clear on
they-
your website.
Yeah.
You're running a business. A business is a service. And there are a lot of people that are doing a lot of amazing things for the community where you walk in and you feel that connection. You feel that community vibe in there. None of that here. And part of it is because your website is out of date. You're not updating your website. Your website has clear, insane grammatical errors. Like, you do not give a shit. That's how I'm sorry, I'm cursing on the podcast, but this place, I got the feeling that they do not give a shit about their customers. That's how I felt.
I like how mad you are about the grammatical errors
I
because
am.
I'm the writing professor.
I am livid. They spelled the word useful wrong on your website. Your main page, it said useful information and it was spelled wrong.
Yeah.
And nowhere in the useful information does it say anything about the fact that they don't have a bathroom and they are when they're open and when they're closed.
I feel like if I had a business
They just don't care, is my perception.
I didn't have a bathroom, I would have that on my main page. Like, for customers, just be like, yeah, we offer all this great stuff, but if you have to use the bathroom, despite the fact that we sell stuff that makes you go to the bathroom, that's not an option. I would be okay with that if I were a customer.
Get a porta potty.
I'm just saying, like, if it were clear, even I wouldn't be as mad about it, or just as like, it's not so much a mad. I'm just turned off by the whole thing.
Me too.
Why would I go there? There's so many other coffee roasters that at least do that and then do everything else on top of it. So I don't buy it, honestly. Like, I get it. Again, I've worked in the Hamptons. I get. A lot of times
I don't get it.
When
you're serving food and drink, I don't.
No, I'm saying
get
it. I get it, but I don't agree with it.
I don't get it. I don't get it, and I don't agree with it.
That's fair.
I mean, it is like, as a customer, there are places that are doing it better, and it's a shame because walking in, we loved the look. I felt like I wanted to stay there for an hour, and we stayed there for 5 minutes
At most.
Yeah.
Well, we had to go. We had to find a bathroom.
Yeah. Got back in the car and went back home.
Yeah.
That's not an experience.
So what do you think for atmosphere and ambiance grade?
The fact that there is no bathroom, so we had to leave so quickly, overrides to me a lot of the nice touches.
Yeah,
and I can't see giving it higher than average because it's not. And I think the fact that there isn't a bathroom and the fact that the Google reviews that have addressed this issue have been sort of trolled by whoever's responding to them, like, shows to me that they actually might say that they're a local community coffee roaster, but that doesn't actually come through when you walk in there.
How many places have we been to from out of state? I was saying, like, Fundati, and we feel like we're like family.
And I think that's why you're a coffee roaster and not a coffee shop. I just felt really disconnected to the owner. I felt disconnected to whatever business model that they have, where they don't value their customers enough to, like, trust their customers to use a bathroom politely. I get you have issues. Everybody probably has this issue.
Well, like we were saying, we've seen ways where other businesses do it.
Make it work.
So
for me, I'm going D, and the only reason I'm not giving it an F is because the touches were cool.
Yeah, I sort of agree. It's difficult to say because I don't think I've ever been in a situation like that where I just didn't have an option to use a bathroom at all. That's a big F factor. Like, that's a failing factor. But if I'm looking at the atmosphere and ambiance objectively, all of those other touches were really nice. So I would give all of those other touches definitely above average. Again, when you balance that with the actual space there, it's, hard to say how that all evens out. But yeah, again, just the fact that there was no bathroom and you have to be in and out so fast, really. I mean, I guess you could, if you didn't have to use the restroom, you could just chill for a bit and it would be kind of cool. But again, even then, we'll get into the service in a moment. It doesn't seem conducive to just kind of hanging out. I mean, it might have been cool to go when there was live music to see what in the world is going on with that. But yeah, I'm just going to sort of try to even out average all of those factors because, again, I could imagine going to a place that didn't have those touches and didn't have a bathroom. And I would say, okay, that's definitely like an F grade overall. Right. So I'm going to give D plus.
Fair.
For atmosphere and ambiance because, again, I thought the touches were cool, but all of that's a big factor, what was missing.
What if I wanted to wash my hands before I ate?
Excellent question.
It's not just, what if I had diarrhea? What if I was going to barf? Like, no, these are like...
I agree.
They're going to create a worse situation by not having access to a bathroom.
I think you should have made a bathroom. I think you should have taken a stand by sitting. That's what I think.
I just can't. I've never been to a place that you can walk in and order like that and not use a bathroom.
Yeah, that's weird. It's weird. It's weird.
And I know we're harping on this, but it was because it impacted the entire experience.
We were at places.
The entire experience was impacted.
We were at places last year during the pandemic that were just opening up, and they all had bathrooms. The ones that didn't were very clear about it, and you also couldn't go in the place. So if it's a COVID thing, I don't buy it.
It also wasn't, because when we did the research a little bit on the reviews, these were from 5 years ago. This has been a customer complaint for the last 5 years.
Yeah. Which, again, if it's not important to you, that's fine. But again, I think it's important that people I know. I would tell most of my friends, hey, if you're looking for coffee out there, don't expect to go to this place and use the bathroom.
Just know that this is what you're going into.
Yeah. Anyways,
okay.
let's move on. Let's move on. Let's try to stay positive.
That was like the biggest thing that we could not wait to talk about and really air out on the podcast. So I think the rest of our categories will be a little quicker.
Okay. So service. I guess I go, right?
You go first.
So for service, honestly, I thought the service was all very average. I think the person who took our order was being trained, which makes sense because it's right before the sort of summer season starts. There were a couple other baristas behind the bar, but there was really none of that connection that we look for with a coffee roaster. Again, this is a really important distinction that we like to make between a coffee shop and a coffee roaster. And again, that's not to say that it's a one-to-one comparison. There are coffee shops that have a lot of interaction and community as well. But the thing about a coffee roaster is we very specifically look for that when we go there. And you just go back to any of our A-grade coffee roasting episodes, and we talk about that with the staff and how you talk to them, whether it's the roasters themselves, the baristas, people who are really invested, people who have a lot of experience. Again, I think it's sort of part of the climate where it is a summer-ish location, and you're going to have a lot of seasonal staff, which all makes sense, but the end result is the end result. And if I'm thinking about it in comparison to other coffee roasters I've been to, it wasn't anything more than average at best. I kind of felt very uncomfortable when we were just told there is no bathroom. I wanted to kind of ask, well, is there a public one? Is there one around? But I don't know. It was just very not conducive to that. And you kind of just move over and wait for your drink. There's no interactions with the baristas. So in terms of my expectations for a roaster, I thought it was actually a little bit below average. Having said that, it all came pretty promptly. It wasn't too busy, but they were definitely doing business, and they were polite enough. So I think I know my grade overall. If you have any other points or questions,
I really think you summarized our experience perfectly. I don't even know if I have anything else to add. It was really bland. So, right? It was an in and out experience.
Yeah. So yeah. I know my grade. I'm going to go C- overall, just because, again, I think the service, if I looked at it from just a purely customer service point of view, it would probably be like C, satisfactory, very average. But again, because my expectation expects that interaction a little bit more, or at least hopes for it, I think it was a little bit below that. So it wasn't bad by any stretch of the imagination. It just wasn't anything as engaging as I usually hope for.
I was thinking the exact same thing, because I thought it was average, but slightly below that, because it was even a little bit less than average, in my opinion.
That would be,
the lack of engagement.
That would be that.
And just the in and out model. And that's it. I think C- is spot on.
You're going the same?
Yes.
Nice. Okay. And that leads us to, of course, coffee.
Yes.
Take us away.
So I'll start us off. I got a maple syrup latte, which is my go-to. I'll start with the latte and then I'll get into some other stuff. But I actually thought the latte was really good. I actually liked it. It wasn't outstanding, outrageous, but it was good. Mm-hmm. It hit the spot. There were a couple of weird things. The first was that it was really small.
Yeah, it was probably, I still think it was maybe 8 ounces.
It was 8
I don't think it
ounces.
was a 12-ounce cup.
No, it was smaller than your drink.
Mine, I think, was a 12-ounce cup.
Yeah. So I liked it, but I wasn't blown away. I wanted a little bit more. They did have options. I was able to get maple syrup. They had lots of different flavors. They had local maple syrup. They had honey, cinnamon. They had some good options for lattes. So it was fine. My latte was good. I would probably put my latte in the B range, maybe B, maybe B-. It wasn't outstanding, but it was good. I enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I barely enjoyed it, though, because Didn't have a bathroom to use.
The lack of bathroom.
I didn't get to like sit and enjoy it. I had to take it in the car to hunt down a bathroom.
It taints your
It
whole...
taints my whole experience because I like it in a mug. I like it, that whole experience of drinking coffee and sitting and drinking coffee instead of taking it back in the car. So that did impact my experience. I won't say too much about your coffee, but I will say, spoiler alert, there are no pour overs.
So can I
take away coffee roaster with no spoilers? Pour overs.
Spoiler alert.
I'm saying spoiler alert.
No pour overs. So
We're living this episode.
That was another thing that kind of
What
miffed
is going
me,
on?
because
what is going on?
I felt duped because on Google Maps, which is usually what we just do, because when you Google a place, Google Maps shows you what's going on. And you can't really usually go by Google reviews. I mean, we've been to places that have lower grades or stars, it's out of 5 or whatever, and we're like, this is nuts, right? And there's probably a lot of factors, a lot of reasons why that might be the case, and the opposite sort of experience too. So it can offer some insight as to maybe a place that looks interesting or unique in some way that you still want to check out regardless. But one of the things I look for, and I noticed this time, were pour overs, which of course is an open vessel fancy brewing method. I hate to keep using the example, but it's a really good standard of an A-grade coffee roaster, which is Fondati Coffee. Doesn't even do drip coffee. They have a pour over bar. And if you want a regular black cup of coffee, you basically order a pour over, one of their pour overs, and it's amazing. And she said to us last time we were there that, if I'm gonna make coffee and take time to roast beans, I'm gonna give you the best version of that product.
Someone who actually cares about customers.
Well, it shows in the product.
That's
certainly.
Again,
having said that, well, let me back up. So the Google page or Google Images showed several pictures of pour overs, of people doing pour overs or pour over vessels. And I don't know who took those pictures. I don't know if it was by owner. I don't know if it was customers. I don't know if they previously did pour overs. Moral of the story is there were no pour overs. In fact, I asked and they said, no, we don't have that. No bathroom, no pour overs.
Get your drink and move on.
So I asked if they had Americanos, which I didn't notice on their menu. Maybe I overlooked it, but I didn't see even an Americano, which is usually the next thing I go to because that's kind of maybe in some ways the next closest thing. Because you don't add milk or sugar or anything. You have to rely on the quality of the beans because it's basically hot water with coffee. And so I got the Americano. And the Americano, honestly, it was fine. It was a maybe slightly better than average Americano, but I mean, I've had Americanos that blow me away, and it wasn't anything like that. I don't think it's something that they really feature, or at least it didn't come across that way to me. So I thought it was a very average Americano. It wasn't bad. It was clearly good beans, clearly decent beans. So I thought that was cool. I also liked their bags of beans. I noticed something that I thought was really interesting was that they had local names for beans. Like one roast was called the Camp Hero bean, which is a local kind of park place, I guess, area. And the other was called Sinister, which I mentioned to you was really cool. And I don't know if they did this on purpose, but I've been trying to learn Italian for our summer trip to Italy. And I think left in Italian is sinistra, which is the root of sinister. So I don't know if they did that purposefully, but it makes sense to me. And I thought that was like really clever and cool.
It did say in their About Me on their website that everything is inspired by Montauk and the local community. That was also a sentence that was grammatically incorrect when we read it.
That also has nothing to do with Italy, though.
No, I know. But what I'm saying is that they are purposeful behind the names of their beans and their roasts.
It makes sense. Yeah.
Right.
So anyways, I thought it was fine. Your latte, I kind of agree with you. I thought it was maybe like C+, B-. It was a little bit better than average. It was certainly good quality, but it wasn't anything that really came together with all the flavors to blow me out of the water. Like we've been to even recently, whether with Fondati and Lincoln, Rhode Island, or even like Reanimator back when we were in Philly a few months ago.
Borealis was really good.
Borealis, definitely
last week's episode.
Really great latte. So there were a lot of those recent ones that we've had that really stand out to me. And this wasn't quite to that level, I thought. So those were my overall thoughts. I thought, in general, there's definitely some pretty good beans there. But
I think it's a shame that they don't offer pour overs because it seemed like they have really good beans that are not being showcased properly.
Yeah, that's sort of the feeling I got. And again, I think probably it comes back to this idea of the space and not having the space or the room. But I don't really care about that.
I don't know. North Fork Roasting
That's true.
does pour overs,
North Fork
and they have a
Roasting-
very small
North Fork Roasting's counter is
employee area.
smaller, and they
Yeah.
do pour overs. So that's a good point too.
Yeah.
So,
I think
I don't know.
what I've kind of learned from doing this podcast is that if you're being creative and if you spend some time thinking and planning, you can do anything, really. If you have concerns, you can work around them.
You should put this on a
can be
poster.
done, right?
Put it on a poster.
Yeah.
Let's sell A-grade posters. A-grade inspiration.
Really, anything could be done. And
You can't spell inspiration without A-grade.
here's what I'm thinking too.
It's not true. Sorry, I'm trying to derail you hard.
I know it's working. I'm looking off into space. Like,
Yeah, it's
what was I
fun.
saying?
You should try it sometime.
I don't know if this was the intention. And again, I don't want to put words in the mouth of the people who are running this business, but somehow with all of these little touches, no bathroom, no pour overs, no this, no that, I felt like the customer was not really valued. And again, I want to be clear. I'm not putting words in their mouth. I don't think this might be their intention. They might really care about the customer, but just my impression for driving an hour and a half to go check out this roaster,
It was more like 2.
almost 2 hours to check out this roaster, which people are going to do. People drive out to Montauk for just the day.
We drive to Mongo's coffee
Yeah.
roaster, and that takes about an hour and a half.
So the impression is just really different than some of the other places that we've been, and it shines through in those little touches.
Yeah. So what do you give for coffee grade? Did we give coffee grade?
C-. Nope. I take it back.
You can't. You said it.
D+. D+ because they don't have pour over options.
Interesting.
D+, you're a coffee roaster with no pour overs. D+.
Well, there are coffee roasters I've been to
I
without.
couldn't drink it in the place. D+.
That's true.
D+.
I mean, if you want to consider that part of the coffee experience, I don't blame you for that. I mean, we've talked about that too with like not silverware, like cups that places have, fancy cups and stuff, ceramics.
Well,
that was our favorite place about La
Mongo's-
Colombe, remember?
Yes.
Yeah, Mongo's has
And
really nice.
The owner of Mongo's, he gets cups that are specifically made to insulate coffee and enhance the flavor.
And they come warm.
And they come warm.
Not because there's coffee in them. You can feel the handles. The cups are actually warmed.
They're pre-warmed on top of the espresso machine. There are touches that these businesses, and why we love going to local businesses is because you get that community feel.
Yeah.
If you don't want the community feel, go to a different place. Go to Dunkin'. Starbucks even has a community feel.
They also have a bathroom.
They also have a bathroom.
And
We're going to harp on the bathroom.
Fun fact. I've been to Starbucks with both openly public bathrooms as well as code bathrooms.
Right.
So they find a way to do it.
If you're in a city, normally they're coded bathrooms.
Yeah. It's doable. It's been done. We
been
put
done.
people on the moon.
Yes.
We can also put them in a bathroom. True story.
Even if it's at the end of the end of the world.
Well, actually, the moon didn't have a bathroom, so there's that.
Whoa.
They didn't. They
Good
didn't have
thing
a toilet. They didn't have a toilet.
Good thing they weren't serving
Did they have a
coffee.
toilet?
Good
Did they
thing-
have a toilet? They did have a toilet on the lunar lander,
Good
didn't
thing
they?
they did.
If
but
they had a toilet on the lunar lander, let me tell you this. I'm going to look this up after we're done. And if they had a toilet on the lunar lander, God help me, you can have a bathroom at your coffee roaster. That's all I'm saying.
Enough said, mic drop.
That's all I'm saying.
Episode over.
If they figured it out in the 60s, man, on the moon, you can figure it out on
They're not even serving coffee and food on the moon.
I know. I preach.
I'm livid. I'm livid.
Anyways, did I give a coffee grade?
No.
Okay.
D+. I stand by it.
I'm gonna go C. I thought it was fine. It wasn't bad. I mean, it was fine. I think again, if it were featured in these ways we said, it would be better. But anyways, I don't want to harp on it. So like I haven't already done that. Food.
How do you feel about the bathroom situation? Talking about harping on things.
Who does food? Do I do food?
You.
I
I
do
started
food.
with coffee.
I thought food was the best part of the experience, honestly.
Mm-hmm.
They didn't have a ton, but what they had was really good. It looked really good. They had these really good looking donuts. And I wound up getting I asked, I was like, ooh, what's going on with that purple one? And it turned out to be a blueberry one. So I got the blueberry muffin, the blueberry donut. It had this really nice purple frosting. And then when you bite inside, it's all blueberry colored, and the banana bread. And I thought that the blueberry donut was good. It was very sweet though, which, I mean, fair enough.
If you listen to this podcast, you know I like my coffee pastries bland.
Yeah, right. So that's why I'm talking about it now, because you're a lunatic.
Yes.
But I thought the banana bread was really good. And I thought the blueberry muffin was actually maybe the best one because it wasn't anything too crazy. It was very just a normal small blueberry muffin bite. So I thought it went well with the coffee, but I thought overall the food was good. They had some other interesting looking stuff like croissants, chocolate croissants, regular croissants. So they had a nice little sort of pastry spread, which I thought, in my estimation, is definitely above average compared to some other places we've been to for sure. So what did you think of, though?
I liked it. I thought all the food was pretty good. I really liked the banana bread actually, but banana bread's probably my favorite pastry to have.
Yeah.
So that's just me. I thought it was all really good. By the time that we tried it, I was kind of disenchanted with the whole experience already. So it didn't really blow me away because I was already just blah about the experience. So I know my grade.
Yeah, I'm going to go B for food. I thought it was good.
Me too. B.
Yeah.
I thought that was a solid B. Above average, but not mind blowing.
I mean,
it was good. It was.
I mean, we've been to places where they have bakeries inside, or they do have kitchens, and they're doing all sorts of crazy, unique stuff. So I think B is very fair for what was actually there.
I agree.
So what do we got for our final tallies?
So here are our report card grades for atmosphere and ambiance. Joe gave a D plus. I gave a D. For service, we both gave C minuses. For coffee, Joe gave a C, I gave a D plus, and for food, we both gave a B.
So, here's the thing. When I calculate my final letter grades, it's almost as if it's not an exact average of my grading categories, because what stands out to me in those grading categories sort of makes a big difference. And I often say that when it comes to coffee roasters, I sort of value the coffee itself as a final product, and you tend to value more the atmosphere and ambiance and the service, which I still value.
Which I think it's good too, because normally we come to the same grades, even though we value different things.
Right, exactly. And however, in this case, the whole no bathroom thing really weighs on me. I hate to keep saying it, but
it's going to stop us from going back.
Well,
we're not going to go back.
Well, I don't think they would want us back if they hear this, but, which I don't blame you. It's it's not for me. It's like a relationship. It's like, I don't think you're a bad person, but you're just not for me, maybe. Right? Fair enough.
It's not what we're looking for when we're doing the A grade podcast.
Well, and I'm sure that there are people who will go there and who will say, this is great. I love it. It's amazing.
It has wonderful reviews on Google Maps. This is not going to impact them that much. It's great reviews.
So if I'm factoring in all of that together, I think I know a final letter grade that sort of considers everything that we've said. And I think it's a very fair letter grade given everything. I think what's interesting is that this is one of the harder ones because I could decide to, like I was saying earlier, weigh things totally differently. So I don't even give so much stock in the letter grade. We say this often all the time too, that it's more so the reasons why, or behind why, what our experience is in terms of why you might want to consider going here or not. So I say take whatever my final letter grade is with a grain of salt for those reasons. But do you know what you're thinking?
I know my grade.
3, 2, 1?
Yeah.
Okay. 3, 2, 1, D plus. Okay. Fair enough.
I actually thought you were going to go higher. I thought you were going to go higher.
No bathroom. Can't do it.
No, it impacted the entire experience.
I think it's a very generous D plus for those reasons.
Can we also say that this is the second time, I said this before, but I'm going to reiterate it for our final review. Mm-hmm. Second time we have driven all the way there and had to leave.
Yeah, that's true.
2 times in a row. 2 times in a row.
Yeah, I think that's fair. Now the question is, do we round up or round down?
I would strongly advocate.
You're an advocate who's advocating.
Yes.
Correct.
I would strongly say the D. It also because they do not offer pour overs. There are ridiculously good coffee roasters on Long Island. Mongo's, Southdown, just to name 2 that we've been to so far. Mm-hmm. Even I would say go to North Fork before this.
Yeah, North Fork.
What's the other one we went to that wasn't Flux?
Flux.
Go to Flux.
Yeah, Flux.
There are really good coffee roasters in Long Island that offer pour overs that you can get really good beans.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, you're in Montauk, so your options are limited, but you can get North Fork on the way. You could go.
You can't really get North Fork on the way.
Yeah, there's one in West Hampton.
Oh, there is.
Yeah.
Oh, that's right.
There's one in West Hampton that's really cute. And then
and they do have a bathroom, I believe.
They have a bathroom. There's Starbucks on the way. There's a Hampton Coffee that lets you use the bathroom right next door. It's a shame because I liked the latte, but I don't know if I liked it enough to recommend going here.
Yeah, I normally would maybe advocate to round up, but you make a pretty compelling argument. So
Yes, finally.
I'm gonna go D grade overall from A grade podcast.
So you heard it here first, guys.
You heard it here.
Unfortunately, this is not always fun for us. We like finding those A grade places. We like supporting local businesses, but this was a really disappointing experience for me.
Well, I will say, as a caveat, if you are staying out there and you're maybe in one of the local hotels where you can walk down.
Great point.
Or you're at the beach and you can walk over, I think it's maybe a different experience. But if you're doing a day trip out to the Montauk Point Lighthouse, or you just want to check it out as oh, look at all these coffee roasters out there, let's see what this one is like, I would say it's not really something worth doing. But again, if you're in these other situations where you're around, you do have access to being kind of like settled in that area for a while, it maybe makes a lot more sense then.
That's a really good point. I think most of the really good reviews are coming from people that are staying at hotels in Montauk or Airbnbs. Right. You walk down, you get your cup of coffee, you bring it back to your hotel, you bring it to the beach, you get a nice coffee, bring it to the lighthouse. I could see that. I just don't see it as a drive-through stop or a place that you're going to sit, get work done, hang with friends.
Which I feel as if that might, again, not to put words in anybody's mouths, but I feel as if that might be the business model where maybe you don't want to encourage people who are driving through to go there because they'll use your bathroom and apparently destroy it.
And maybe that's why they don't have...
I know is a thing.
They don't have pour-overs. They want people in and out. That would be my guess.
Yeah.
That would be my guess.
So as again, if you think of it as like a local coffee shop for people who are at the hotel down the road, I think it's a much different experience, and it's maybe a much higher letter grade. It's probably maybe then, I don't know, a B plus coffee shop place. But again, comparing it to other coffee roasters we've been to, and again, we're thinking of coming at this from, we've been to coffee roasters from here to Boise to Denver to Seattle to Bismarck,
Rhode Island.
Name a state.
Bismarck was the coffee roaster that was connected to a pool.
It was in a YMCA.
So we drank coffee and watched people swim.
That was before we started doing the really podcast, weird. But that was one of the stranger ones.
That was really strange.
But they had a bathroom.
I mean, I don't know.
Bathroom, do you remember that bathroom at the YMCA
Yes,
one?
and we couldn't find it.
It was through like all these different hallways.
We had to go in the locker room.
Yeah, we had to use the locker room. Yeah, we had to use the YMCA.
But at least they had a bathroom.
Even they had access to a bathroom.
Yeah, I feel a little more confident, on episode 40-something that we're on right now, after doing a road trip cross country, to give a D to this coffee roaster.
Even the coffee roaster last summer on the road that didn't give me my drink still had a bathroom.
You are right.
They forgot about my drink and left.
Yes, they
did.
They
still had a bathroom.
They still had a bathroom.
And think about these places with awesome bathrooms. Southdown in Glen Cove, right?
Using the art in the bathroom.
Huge mural
insane.
on the wall. I mean, we've been to places that do outrageous stuff like that. Or breweries, when we review craft breweries. Po' Boy has mouthwash for you.
Yes.
Oh, you're worried about dirty customers? Have you been to a brewery?
Right. And think about Flux, right? Flux is a really small space in downtown Farmingdale.
Yeah.
You could have people coming from bars trying to use your bathroom. You have a lot of heavy traffic. They had a bathroom. I think we've really beaten this one, but
yeah.
We
beat the dead horse in the bathroom.
Take what you want from this, like we said, recommendation wise, but that was our experience today. It's a D from A Grade Podcast.
So check it out if you don't have to use the bathroom, and
if you just don't drink any water before you go.
hopefully we'll be
dehydrate before you go.
D for dehydrated. Hopefully we'll be back next week with a new bathroom. We'll certainly be back with a new episode.
Probably a brewery.
It's about time that we get back to the breweries. And as you know, if you're a returning listener, we do both coffee roasters as well as craft breweries, because that's where the passion is. That's where people are making awesome stuff and providing awesome stuff to their local community. So if you like this sort of rambling madness, follow us wherever you listen to podcasts, whether it's Spotify, Apple Podcasts. I don't know. I added a bunch of apps recently on our webpage.
We updated our Patreon a little, got a new look for Patreon.
Like, share, and subscribe.
Podbean. Yes.
Actually, do share us. That would be helpful.
Absolutely. Check us out on Instagram. It's where we do our most...
If you could tweet us, especially... who could tweet us? Elon? If you could tweet us. He's getting a lot of press.
We were hoping the Pope listened last week.
The Pope could tweet us.
With Victory Brewing.
Yeah, tweet us, share us on Facebook.
If you made it to the moon and used the toilet on the moon, the ghost children in Victory Brewing's bathroom.
That horse is dead. Oh yeah, the ghost children in Victory Brewing. Yeah. Join us next time. We'll be back with
all the
new
human
episodes.
robots out there.
All right, you're doing too many episode references. All right.
Gotta have the inside jokes.
We do have inside jokes. That's true. But I don't know. Do you have anything else to say?
No, I think we're done. We'll see you guys next week.
Yeah. Until then, stay safe out there. Be well, pee well, and hope to see you then.
Yes, I'm going to go use the bathroom.
Bye.
Bye.